Hello, everyone, and welcome to our sleepover. Today, we're going to be sharing some stories and, you know, just getting to know each other. So, here we are with I'm Pam and my co
And
host.
I'm Steph.
I was going to introduce you as Miss Stephanie Moneybags, or
Yeah.
I didn't know if you preferred like Dr. Moneybags.
Yes, Dr. Moneybags Esquire, please.
Because you sold some artwork this week.
Heck yeah, Pam. It felt like I left this little thing that happened thinking like I deserve what I want and I get what I deserve. Like everything in the universe is
Absolutely.
swirling towards one singular point and it's me.
Well, I'm so proud of you. And I'm sure that our listeners are going to be proud of you as well. But so I wanted to start this week with some story times, and it's kind of a game of never have I ever, but it's more of like a have you ever, and then we share a story based off of the prompt. So I did send you these in advance so that you wouldn't have to be coming up with stuff off the top of your head. But yeah, let's get into it. My first have you ever is have you ever set something on fire?
Pam, I have set something on fire fairly recently. So, last week we talked about how I just recently quit my job. At that job, which I'm no longer at, I was in charge of using a laser cutter to cut paper, very
Mhm.
elaborate patterns into paper. And we had this very big project right at the end. When I was leaving, we had this very big project that was happening. We were doing a bunch of stuff. And I had to cut this paper. I set it all in the laser. And unfortunately, this paper, instead of being kept in flat files so that all the stacks of paper are flat and nice, this was paper off of a roll. So what happened when the
Okay.
laser would cut out a shape, the paper would curl up. Like, remember, it was
Mhm.
and it was pop, curl right up. So I
Okay.
walked away from this laser that was cutting this paper for 2 minutes. And then I walked back, and the whole thing was on fire. The whole thing was above
Oh God.
blaze. This is a like $24,000 laser cutting machine, something crazy. So
Oh
I
my God.
was like, okay. I stopped the laser function. I opened the thing. I shut off the airflow, and then I was like, okay. I ran. There was a moving blanket. I grabbed the moving blanket and I threw it on top of the whole thing. And I put it out. It wasn't on fire probably for more than 60 seconds. None of the machine got damaged, but I did set a big fire inside of it.
Oh God. Well, I'm glad you were able to salvage it because that would be like my nightmare would be destroying a piece of equipment that costs so much money.
Yeah,
Yeah, I would lose it a little bit.
it would have been a giant bummer. Have you set anything on fire, Pam?
So I have set myself on fire and I did it in your backyard. I don't know if you remember
Yes. This was a thing
the
when we were teenagers and probably still is a thing.
oh, I'm sure people still do this to this day, but it was like Axe body spray, right? You spray the Axe body spray all over your hand
I think
and
we used
then
hairspray, didn't we?
okay, hairspray. And then we were very safe about it though. I feel like we had a bucket of water right there. We like made sure that especially our friends with like longer arm hair, we were like just getting the hand, but we lit each other on fire for a little while.
We did this on my parents' back deck. It was like in direct eyesight of my kitchen. Were my parents around? I don't know. But we were
I feel like your
particularly
mom helped us get
responsible
the
teenagers.
I feel like your mom helped us get the ingredients that we needed to light each other on fire. She was like, "Yeah, whatever you need." You know
I
why?
don't
Because
know
your
that
mom
she
is a
knew what
girl's
we were
girl.
doing, but she really is. Like, amen to her. But like, she had no reason not to trust us because we were incredibly responsible.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do remember that, and I do remember, yeah, a couple of us being on fire. That's a core childhood memory, though. That's people that you got to do that. Just like you got to throw sneakers over a power line, you know.
Yeah, I've never done that, but there have been sneakers on the power lines close to my house.
All the time.
So someone's getting out there and doing it.
Someone's keeping it alive.
All right, on to my next prompt. Have you ever regretted a haircut?
Okay. So, you might know this, Pam. I've shaved my head a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
To me, so I first did this in high school. It was the very end of our freshman year of high school. I was like, I'm so sick of this hair. I had to like some situation where I was like getting up in the morning and like blow drying a certain part. I was like, why is this so much work? And
Mm-hmm.
I still don't even really like how my hair looks. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm mad. I'm mad about having hair. I'm going to get rid of it. So I shaved my head in high school. And then recently, just the beginning of 2026, I decided, new year, new me, I was going to shave my head once again. Let me tell you the difference between these two times.
Okay.
When I was 16, yeah, I believe I was 16. Was I? I would have been 15. 15, I shaved my head and then just grew it back out. I just let it grow. And
Mm-hmm.
when you do that, there's like a year to a year and a half of awkward middle phase.
Mm-hmm.
And I do regret not committing to like a style more. I was just like letting it
Yeah.
go and it was not good for a while. But I don't regret cutting it. I regret not like
Yeah.
styling it. So this time I have been more diligent about like getting it cut to make it like look nice at each length as I'm growing it back in.
Mm-hmm.
And
Nice.
I am really loving like experiencing the different styles and like having it grow back. And my whole life, I was like, well, I look horrible with short hair. But the reason I looked horrible because I wasn't doing anything with it. Like now
Right,
that
right.
I'm like kind of shaping it to more how I want, I'm like, wait a minute, does short hair work for me? you know?
Do you think you're going to keep it short or are you still intending to grow it out?
Right now, I don't want to grow it all the way back out to what it was, like, like booby length, but I want to keep it, I think it's super short, cute little, like, French bob type of thing.
Oh, cute, cute.
Because right before I shaved it off, I cut it pretty short, like into a little bob, and I think
Mhm.
I liked that kind of look. You know what I
Mhm.
did regret? Right before I shaved my head this year, I cut these little curtain bangs into it
Mhm.
myself that I did regret. Just be
Oh,
not
yeah.
I just they didn't look how I wanted. They didn't
Mhm.
like fit behind like my ear. They were just like
Yeah,
inconvenient.
yeah. Bangs are so tough, man.
Yeah. They are. I feel like you for a long time did the straight across bang.
I did.
And I feel like
I
that's
mean,
the
I
only
I think I
haircut
would
you could.
still have the straight across bag.
Yeah, they definitely look good on you. But turning the question back
I
on you,
just
Pammy, you don't really cut your hair.
Yeah, so I actually do have a story of regretting a haircut because back when I moved to
Oh.
Alaska the first time, I had gone probably a year without getting a haircut. and someone was like, "Oh, I have a friend coming into town and she does hair. Would you like to get your hair cut?" And I was like, I like to keep my hair healthy. So I said, "Yeah, I would love to get my hair cut." And it was like, I can't remember how much money it was, but I had the money to do it. I was making $4 an hour at that point, but I had the money to do it. So I went and she was like, "Yeah, how much do you want taken off?" And I said, and I am so bad at like lengths. I don't know how much an inch is. I don't know how much like I I can't compute in my head the idea of an inch, but I said, "Yeah, maybe like 4 inches." And she was like, "Oh, that's great. I can totally do that." So she did. And at that time, like my hair is so long. I think that's the most that's ever been cut off of my hair at one time. And I can like have my hair in my hand and hold out my arm and not have any pull on my hair. So she gave me this cut and I couldn't do that anymore. And I gave her the money. I was like, I am not making enough money to hate a haircut that I've gotten. And I gave her the money and I just sobbed as I walked back to my cabin. I was so upset, and it's such a little thing, hair, but I feel like it has the larger implications of how you love yourself and, you know, especially my hair. I feel like it's the only beautiful thing about me, which is, I have stuff that I have to unpack about that, but my hair is like the thing that I feel really confident about. So when it's not the way that I want it to be, I don't have that confidence anymore. So I did regret that haircut.
Yeah, and it's a bummer too. I mean, like, how I wonder what the actual inch number was that she cut off, because like it's not I don't know. It seems like it shouldn't have happened. And I'm sure of course since then your hair's grown back and it's, it's okay, but yeah, definitely shouldn't have, just shouldn't have been a thing.
Yeah, and I like as soon as I said 4 inches, I like immediately regretted it because she made this face like, "Oh, that's a lot." And I was like, "Is that a lot?" And I was like,
This
"Oh,
is
maybe
4
not
inches.
like that much."
Can you see how big this is? 4 inches. So something about me, I'm really good at measurement. I'm really good at it.
It's totally my
And
kryptonite. Can't do it.
this is 4 inches.
That doesn't seem like that much, but it felt like so much getting taken off.
She probably took off 6, and you were like,
Yeah,
oh, I bet you she took off 6.
I bet she took off 6. But yeah, so I have regretted a haircut. And I feel like you haven't regretted a haircut, but you've like regretted hair.
Yeah, when my hair gets too long, it's I have this thing with my hair that my hair can be wavy when it feels like it. And then sometimes it just doesn't feel like it and it won't do anything. So then when my hair is behaving and being wavy, I'm like, oh, I want my hair all the time. I want it to be long, 100 meters long, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
But then it will get a certain length and less often just be wavy. And then it'll just be this kind of half wavy, half straight, like
Yeah.
thing that I don't like and is not giving me the I like to what like my hair adds like shape to my head. I feel like I have a really
Mhm.
small head. So if my hair is not falling the way I want it to, I just have to cut it off so it like poofs up a
Yeah.
little bit. And I tend to leave it longer than I want it for too long, thinking
Mhm.
like, no, but when it's behaving, it's really good. And then it
Yeah,
will
yeah.
just behave less and less.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, so my third is have you ever tripped in front of everyone?
Like, yeah, of course I have. You know what? I'm trying to think of the in particular story. I was gonna tell for this because you know what story comes to my head when we talk about tripping.
There are two stories, and I'm curious which one is at the top of your head.
Oh yeah, there are two. So the cold one came to my head first, but
Okay.
the hill one is. I mean, I peed my pants when we saw that happen. I actively peed my pants.
I
So
for so
I
long,
don't.
I don't know like if our listeners are going to be able to get through this because for so long I would try and tell people that story and I would not be able to get through it without just laughing
No.
hysterically. So,
So
do you want
yeah,
to
because have I fallen down? Yes, but the real story is in us watching other people fall down.
Okay, so Steph and I were on a cross country road trip and we went to a whole bunch of different places, but on this particular day, we were at Arches National Park. And since then, I have lived and worked in Arches National Park, and I have a very special relationship with this hill, which is the opposite side of the main highway that runs through. It doesn't run through Arches National Park. It like runs past the entrance of Arches National Park. And then when you're going into Arches National Park, there are a bunch of switchbacks that you drive up to get into like the park proper. And then you like go over and you're in the canyon on the other side. So we were on this road trip and we went up all these switchbacks and we were at the very top of the switchbacks and we just pulled over at this lookout spot that's at the top of the switchbacks. And we looked across the way and there was this giant sand hill. I feel like we're already like the cat with the canary.
Just
Um
the anticipation.
so there's this big sand hill and it's like people love to go over there and climb on it and like you're allowed to do whatever you want because it isn't in the national park, so people run up it, they'll like skateboard down it, they'll whatever. So we are standing there looking at this hill across the way and we're like, oh, we should go there later, like when we get out of here, just like talking about it. And there's two people, but in specific, there's this one guy, and they're both standing towards the top of this hill. And this this guy just tumbles head over heels down the whole hill. And it is not a short hill, it is quite tall. And he just tumbles.
No, not the whole hill. He
No, I
tumbles down
know.
half the hill.
Okay, yeah. So he makes it about halfway. He stands up. He kind of looks around like no one saw that, right? Except for like my friend that was here. And we're laughing hysterically. And then he takes one step and he trips again and he tumbles the rest of the way.
Just us watching him fall the first time, or like, and he keep going, and we're already laughing, and then when he gets up, we're like, okay, he's righted himself, he's got this, and then he takes one singular step and careens the rest of the way down the hill, with like this red puff of sand following him all the way down. It like I do think you had to be there, but when I say you guys, I could not help but pee my pants. I like laughing so hard. Oh my god.
I think it's
Oh
one of
my
the
god.
best. Like, we had some great memories on that trip, but I would say that is the peak memory of that trip because
Yeah.
I
Oh
feel like it brought us all together. Like, he and we are
yeah.
in that moment for the rest of time.
Yep. Yep.
And he doesn't even know that we were there, but like he made our summer.
Yes. Oh my god. That was the summer of 2015, if anyone
Yeah.
was in Arches National Park falling down a hill that year.
Oh my god, to meet the person who has changed
It would
my life.
change my
Oh my
life,
god.
Pam. It would change my life.
Okay, so I took the lead on telling that story. Do you want to tell the other one?
All right, excellent. So, many years later, I believe, so I guess it was 3 because I think it was 2018,
Yeah.
right? That's crazy that that was that long ago because I feel like 2015 was forever ago, and I guess it
Mhm.
was, but then 2018 feels like yesterday. Anyway, 2018, we took a group trip to Finland because our dear Pammy was au pairing there for some Finnish shillings, and
Mhm.
we took the crew on a little trip to visit her, and then we went to Reykjavik. Wait, that's in Iceland. Helsinki.
No, we went to
We went to
Rovaniemi.
Helsinki, but we landed in Helsinki first, and then we went up to
Mhm.
Rovaniemi. Is what I'm saying.
Yes, yes.
We landed in Helsinki to visit you, and then all of us together flight up to Rovaniemi to see like the North Pole and the Northern Lights, and it was amazing. But when we went to the North Pole to meet Santa Claus, there it was very cold. There was snow everywhere, and we sat down and all of us to take a picture. Pam, were you taking the picture? No, you were
No,
sitting
I'm in
across
the
from me.
picture laughing hysterically. I think it was Rachel taking the
Was
picture
Rachel? Yeah, I think Rachel was taking the picture. So it was me, you, Michaela, and Amara, right?
and Keely, right?
And Keely. So we're all sitting at this table, and Rachel's taking a picture, and and Michaela's like, okay, wait, I don't want this brochure in the picture. And she frisbees this brochure, frisbees it unnecessarily. It it careens, flies through the air as if it were an airplane. You would have thought she folded it into wings before it just perfectly lands. Genuinely, if it was a cartoon, it couldn't have been timed better. The
No,
brochure
absolutely not.
flies underneath the foot of a running child. The child st- steps on this brochure in the icy snow, and he face plants. Just his feet. He didn't have a chance. He
No.
the brochure takes him out. And what makes it
And then a
funny?
table of 6 women bursts into
Grown
laughter.
adults, full grown adults laugh at this little kid. It was so inappropriate. We should have made sure he was okay. He was fine. He ran off. But we should have not. They made it impossible to stop laughing. The fact that we really should not have been laughing.
Yeah,
Oh my god. Those are the two. I don't think there is any better way to witness people fall down than those two scenarios.
100%. Like
Oh,
I if I could bring our listeners to a moment in time, those are the moments I would choose because you can't recreate them. It was like out of a movie scene. This brochure just flying just like right under his foot as he stepped and he was done.
he wasn't. I can't even like stress enough how not close to him we were. This
Yeah.
brochure that got frisbeed across this expanse of snow to just land right under this child's feet is crazy. It was excellent. Excellent
And in the
memory.
photo, because Rachel was like taking this photo, right? So the brochure was out of the
Yeah.
way as we all burst into laughter and she took the photo. So I look insane in the photo. I am like on another planet with how much I am laughing. And then I think everyone else
Yeah.
is also laughing, but the way I look in this photo is insane. I'll have to post it on our Instagram.
Yes.
Okay. So I wanted to update everyone on a life situation that's happened for me. And then I wanted to give you some space to talk about your camping trip if you had any stories that you wanted to share.
Yes. So exciting.
But I and my family adopted a dog named Topo. He is a former sled dog ranger from Denali National Park, and I submitted paperwork to adopt him back in 2019. And in February, I got reached out to by the kennel's manager who said, "You are in the top running to become Topo's future family." And,
Which is crazy
from
that
there,
you submitted this 7 years ago.
yeah, absolutely. I had honestly grieved losing Topo. I was like, I haven't heard anything from them. He's 9 years old. That's when they normally adopt them out. He's gone and I'm never going to see him again. And then I got this email and I was like, I was so nervous to bring it up to Kevin because I honestly thought he was going to be like, no, we really can't do that. We had just adopted Seven, who is a puppy, and like puppy training is not easy. So I was like, we're just not going to get this dog. We're not going to get Topo. And like our third date, me and my husband's third date was walking Topo. So it was after that that we were like, we really want Topo to be a part of our family because he was there in the beginning.
Yeah.
So anyway, the kennels manager reaches out and he's like, it's between you and one other person. And then he's like, give me about a week to make the decision. And I wait a week and I talked to Kevin about it and he was like, "Oh yeah, absolutely we're going to adopt Topo." Like didn't even question it. So I was like, "Okay, like now this is feeling more real. Like I'm not just like bringing this to you and like, I've already gone through this grieving process of thinking I'm never going to see him again." And then I call back after this week and he's like, "Yeah, so we've chosen you. Topo's gonna join your family." And I was like,
Yeah.
"This is the best." So we talked about it. We were like, "All right, well, we're gonna be in Denali this summer. Like, when can we wait towards the end of the season to adopt him?" And they were like, "Oh, well, we kind of want to adopt them out sooner because we have new puppies coming in and they need houses." So we like because one of the big reasons we wanted to wait is because we're going to be putting in a fence to our yard at the end of the summer. So we were like, okay, well, if we don't have the fence in yet, like how's he going to do without a fence? Because our other dogs are pretty good without the fence, but Topo's been on a tether his whole life. Like he's not going to know not to run away when um outside. So we talked back and forth and we were like, all right, well, we'll get him in July. And we adopted him last week. So right after recording last week, or the day after recording last week, we brought our dogs to the dog yard to meet Topo because he doesn't have any experience with outside dogs. And they were pretty sure he was going to be okay, but they were like, he might growl a little bit. So just be prepared for that. And our dogs are really good with other dogs. Like we go to the dog park all the time. So I wasn't worried about them, but I was a little bit worried about Topo. And then Kumba, our older boy, is 9 years old as well. And we adopted him when he was 3. So I was a little bit concerned, like they're the same age, but they've kind of been through these different life experiences. Like, are they going to get along? Kumba, and his brother would fight incessantly. So I was a little bit concerned, like another boy his same age. are they going to be on the same page? Like, is this really going to be like any other dog situation? But they've been great. When they met, they weren't super interested in each other, but Seven was super interested in Topo. And yeah, he's moved in and it's been great. He's
That's
not potty trained
amazing.
yet, which is something we're working with.
Yeah.
But he's lived outside his whole life, so he's like, I poop where I feel safe, and I guess he feels safe inside our house.
There you go. Well, I love that. That will come. You're also in, still puppy training, so it's just like a little bit extra training.
Yeah, yeah. It's like having a
So,
9-year-old puppy. No, but he's
yeah,
so good apart from that, like, and he's not peeing inside the house, so he does pee outside, but
that's good.
yeah.
So I'm curious, Pam, because obviously I know you always wanted kind of like all the dogs you can get, as
Yeah.
many as you can possibly get. But I wonder about, is it at all, can it be overwhelming with your like living situations, because you don't have like a ton of space. Like how is it working with like adding a third with like, yeah, just like the
No, so
adjustment period.
it's actually really good because, like, right outside our front door is the forest. So I'll take I'll do like back to back to back walks. So we'll go out into the forest. And I don't really take them together just because I want to make sure that I'm like witnessing them using the bathroom to make sure that they aren't going indoors. But I'm sure in the future we can do walks together. But everyone's kind of found their space. So we have underneath the table in the dining room, there's a dog space, and then there are two, like, what we use as kennels underneath the seats.
Mm-hmm.
So Seven's super small and she uses those. And then Kumba tends to hang out in our bedroom. So there's actually, like, even though we don't have a ton of space on paper, like, everyone kind of has their area that they go to and everyone has space that way. And like they'll all come, like, if I don't have work, I'll go, I'll be on the bed in the morning and everyone will come in and sleep with me. And they've all got their spaces. So the only thing is there's no space for Kevin. So he has to be, but Topo will come in and curl up where his head is. Seven goes like right next to me, kind of underneath Topo, and then like near my chest. And then Kumba sits at the end of the bed. So everyone kind of has their own space and it seems to be working really well. I certainly wouldn't bring another dog into the situation. And kind of the circumstances that brought Topo to us. Like, I would say our lifestyle is really good for two dogs, and one of those being a small dog and like one of those being a big dog, because that big dog has to be able to help Kevin get up if he falls down. But like, our lifestyle is perfect for two dogs, but this third dog, because of the circumstances that we're in, is really fitting in well to that lifestyle.
Beautiful. Yeah, it really helps that you just got approval to work from home.
I was like honestly, when that came through that I was going to be work from home instead of going into the office, I was like, this is so perfect, because I was worried about like Topo coming in and then me leaving. When you adopt a new dog, like, you want to kind of be there for a little while, and I have long weekends, so I was like, I'll be there for the first weekend and then we'll just have to get him used to me being out. But now I'm here, and if he needs something, he can let me know. And, you know, but they're all super chill dogs, super chill. So,
That's amazing. I'm so happy for you. I'm so happy for Topo. And yeah, like just the way everything lined up for you just brings me back to this like it just feels like a good year. It just feels like good things are happening.
yeah,
I feel really optimistic about our personal paths.
yeah. I was so like, I didn't believe it when David told me that we were going to be adopting him. I was like, until it happens, like I'm just waiting for someone to be like, no, actually Topo's gonna go somewhere else.
Yeah,
So I was super stressed about it. But now he's with us and he's doing great, and I'm just so happy about it.
that's amazing. And what about, so another logistical question.
Yeah.
What will happen with like flying if you guys are traveling
Yeah,
together?
so we're going home for Elisa's wedding, my sister's wedding, and the plan was to bring Topo with us, but it would cost about $400 to bring him,
That's
and
a lot.
it'll cost about 300, it'll cost approximately $400 to board him for the time that we're there. But if we were flying with him, we would also need a certificate of health, and we would also need to buy him a crate to be transported in. So
Right.
it's going to be less money for us to board him than it would be to bring him with us. But in the future, I think like we'll if we're spending more time than a week because we're only going for the wedding for a week, then we'll probably bring him with us.
Gotcha. Cool beans.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited whenever I get up to Alaska, meet all these puppies.
Yeah. I told my mom on the phone because she was like, okay, so like, what are your plans for coming home? Because I told her I bought the tickets to go back to New York for the wedding. And I was like, we'll be there a week. And she was like, a week? Yeah, well, we have, lives that we have to we have stuff that we need to do in Alaska. So we can't be coming for a month, which we have done in the past. So I do understand where she's coming from, but it's just not in the cards this year to come for a month.
Yeah, that's understandable.
And I was like, and Topo and Seven are going to come with us. And she was like, not Kumba, because Kumba is her favorite dog on the face of the planet. And I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. So sorry, I misspoke. Kumba and Seven are going to be coming with. And she
Yeah.
was like, oh, thank God. Because like, I don't know Topo. I don't know Seven. I don't I don't need any of that in my life. I need my grandson, Kumba.
Hmm. Well, Kumba is also, well, I guess I technically met Topo the first year you were working in Denali,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
he wasn't your dog at that point.
Yeah.
Kumba is also, then I'm counting him as the only dog of yours I've also met, and he is a particularly good boy.
He is. He's such a good boy. And he's been so good with having Topo come into the family. He is such a good, like, he is just a sweetheart all around.
Yeah, that's good.
But yeah, so that's kind of what's going on in my life. How was your camping trip this week?
Amazing, Pam. So, I don't remember if I've talked about my little car camper conversion here before, but since I quit my job, I've been hoping to do more traveling in my car that I converted into a camper. So far, everything is mostly working to plan. The only thing I'm having trouble with is, so I have this rigged up because I have a Prius, and people like do this where they hook up a power inverter to their battery because a hybrid car essentially functions as like a gas generator. Like as soon as your
Okay.
battery's low, the engine will kick on to charge it. So like you have like kind of free electricity powered by your gas engine, and people use it to like go camping and charge all their equipment and power their food, cooking devices, all this kind of stuff. So
Hmm.
when I acquired my Prius, I was like sad because my other car was a lot better. But it was
Yeah.
like a nicer car. But then I was like, okay, well, I have this Prius now. I might as well do something with it. And I totally redid the inside. I turned it, I like reupholstered the seats. I redid the ceiling. I recarpeted it. And then I built like myself a little kitchen. And I had my brother hook up this power inverter. So everything is awesome. I bought this power bank. So I charge up my power bank before I go, and the power bank reliably lasts me like 3 days. And the whole plan was that, and I have my inverter to charge my power bank. So when that gets low, I just run the car for an hour, charge up my power bank, and then I have power for the next 3 days again. However,
Okay.
something has gone hinky with the wiring, or maybe my inverter is just defective. I'm not an electrician, so I don't know how to fix it, but the inverter, which is 1,000 watt inverter, so it should be good. It, like, people don't have problems with this. Like, this is a common thing. So it
Yeah.
shouldn't be not working, but I set my power bank to charge at only 300 watts, like way below what my
Yeah.
inverter is supposed to be able to handle, and it will only charge for like 30 minutes before the inverter shuts off. So then
Oh,
I'm like troubleshooting. I'm like, is it getting too hot? Is it like what's happening? But let me reiterate, I'm not an electrician. So I have no idea what's happening. So that's the only kind of problem I'm having. But it was such an
mm-hmm.
amazing camping trip. One of my goals was to paint more. I have this goal to
Yeah.
paint landscapes out, not only because it's part of this larger like graphic novel project that I want to do, but also because I love nature so much. And like, my friend Zoe used this really fantastic phrase that I'm going to steal from her, but she called it sinking, like to sink into nature a little bit, like
Okay.
more than just looking at it. I feel the need to like experience it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Have you heard of
whether,
forest bathing?
oh, I have, it sounds maybe familiar, but tell me
Mm-hmm.
about it.
It's like where you go into the woods and you like, immerse yourself. So you're not just walking through, you're finding a place, laying down, you're looking at the plants, you're maybe like eating berries or whatever, but you're like fully immersing yourself into the forest environment.
Yes, this is, yeah, it's like I feel when I'm in like the most beautiful places in the world, I don't want to just look at it. I want to
Mhm.
be in it. And
Yeah.
yeah, a lot of times how I do this is like I will take like, my most important the most important thing in my life, a hot black tea. I'll take hot tea in a thermos and like a hammock and just something to work on. So either a book. I've taken so many books out there. So yeah, I and that's kind of how I feel like I can truly sink into nature. And so
Yeah.
Watkins Glen, where I was, one of the most beautiful places in probably these United States of America. It is so gorgeous
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
But the trail, the Gorge Trail, which is it's not very long. It's not a very huge park. It's maybe 2 to 3 miles end to end, like the whole Gorge Trail,
Mhm.
and it is a very accessible park, which is wonderful in that people of like every ability level can pretty much experience some part of Watkins Glen because it's very
Yeah.
paved and much of it is flat. Like, there's probably places where there are too many stairs for like, a wheelchair user, but you can still get to a waterfall without any stairs. So my point
Yeah.
is it's so great that this is this like supreme level of nature's beauty is so available to everyone. What I'm leading up to is that it's very crowded. It's like an
Yeah.
extremely popular place to visit,
Yeah.
and I cannot reach that feeling of peace and serenity when I'm surrounded by people. And not only that,
Yeah.
the Gorge Trail is not a place where you can like step to the side and find a place to sit. It's a very narrow
Yeah.
path that people are walking. And if you
Mhm.
stop, people have to walk around you. If people are taking a photo,
Yeah.
you have to stop. So it's very trafficky.
Yeah.
And so while I was there, I opted the first day during the day to take the rim trails, which you can't really see the gorge from, but they're these beautiful pine trails that are quiet and empty and beautiful.
Mhm.
And so the first day I just walked that. It was so humid, but
Mhm.
it was worth it to me to like leave the gorge trail for like less
Yeah.
crowded time.
Yeah.
So then the first day after I did that, I decided that the next day I was going to go back there to paint.
Mhm.
And then in the evening I went down to the gorge trail and there was a lot less people. It was so much calmer, so much
Mhm.
more like my speed. And so
Yeah.
then I was wondering if I get up really early, like will I have it all to myself? Like if I try to get out here at like 7 in the morning, like I wonder if that's early enough. Cause never in my life will I willingly get up before 6 o'clock in the morning. Unless I guess there are circumstances that I would do that, but we're not, you know what I mean?
Pay no attention to those.
Pay no attention. So I decide that I want to try to paint a couple of different. I want to like get better. Like I'm not very good at landscape watercolor, and so I knew in my heart like the first few tries of this are gonna be bad because
Yeah.
I have not practiced this. I've always struggled with landscapes. I have to like set my expectations and know that like being bad at something is part of getting good at something.
Mhm.
You know? So, which can be hard for me, especially surrounding painting, because I have always like I had that like childhood thing where if you're good at something, you expect to always be good at it or whatever.
Yeah.
I was kind of like, yeah, I've always like been good at painting, so it's hard to be bad at painting for me.
Yeah, yeah.
So that evening, I decide like maybe I'll try to get up early one of these days. Then I go back, I go to sleep. I have a really, really hard time sleeping in my car. Even though I switched out my hard mattress for like a really, really soft plush one, I think a few things are contributing to this. One is that when it gets really, really dark at night, it's a little bit scary.
Yeah.
And it's just an unfamiliar place. I'm not used to
Mhm.
camping by myself. It's just
Yeah.
you're a little bit more on edge. Even though like the campground was like safe and beautiful and I didn't run
Yeah,
into
yeah.
anyone sketchy. And then I also think my beautiful plush mattress that I bought is so plush and beautiful that I sink down to my hard car below it.
Oh, no.
So I have maybe some upgrades to make to some things still, the mattress being one of them. But
Yeah.
the next day, because I could barely sleep, I slept from like 6 a.m. to 10 a.m.
Okay.
for the second night in a row, by the way, because I got there Sunday late and then slept barely at all. And then I had my
Mhm.
first day and then I slept barely at all again. On my second full day, I went out to do my painting back in like the upper pine part of the state park.
Mhm.
And I spent a really long time on this painting where the goal of like the practice and getting better is to try to do like more quick ones, like fast, so that
Yeah.
you're getting a whole bunch of different practices in. But I didn't do that.
Mhm.
I just spent all day on this one painting, and I think it turned out fine for my first try. And then again, I went out in the evening to the gorge trail and was like, okay, tomorrow's the day. I'm going to try to get up early and
Mhm.
like maybe get some painting in.
Yeah.
So I just walked to the gorge trail again and then went back. And this was the day. So I went to sleep and I got up so super early. I got up at like 6 in the morning and I got all ready. It might have been later than that, like 6:30. The point
Mhm.
is, I got myself down to the gorge at 7 o'clock in the morning to the most beautiful spot in the gorge so that I could sit down and paint.
Mhm.
I was alone in the gorge for 10 minutes
Yeah.
before people just started there was just there's no being
Yeah.
alone there
Yeah.
at all. So I sat and painted for a while, and this one I was trying to do quicker, and this one turned out pretty bad. Like, I admit it was like not the best, but that's what I
Mhm.
expected. That's what I expected. It's fine. So then I went back to my camp spot for breakfast, and then I spent a lot of the day. It was the hottest of the days, but it was so beautiful at my campsite. The sun was shining through the trees, the wind was taking the heat away from my camp spot. I sat in my hammock and worked on some digital drawing for some other projects I'm working on my iPad. And then I was like a little bit like, I was still excited about watercolor painting the landscape, but I was a little bit like, all right, time to go do another bad painting. So in the evening, again, I went down to another spot and sat down and started doing a painting. And people are so nice, by the way. People just will stop and be
Yeah.
like, what are you painting? You know, they're just interested and friendly. And I would show them, like, oh, I'm trying to practice. Like, I'm trying to get better. And they were like, that's so nice. And then, some people will stop to talk to you. This is a story I didn't tell you previously. On my way down that evening to do my second painting of the day, I passed by these four guys. Now, I want to preface this by these four guys didn't do anything to
Yeah.
make me suspicious of them. I was just preemptively like a little bit worried because I passed them and they were all dressed the same. So I was like, you guys are quadruplets. And they were like, yeah, that's right. Whatever, a little interaction. And then I pass them and I sit down to do my painting. And I was just getting in my head about it. The park is clearing out. I'm about to sit down. Like, these guys didn't do or say anything wrong to me, but you just get in your head when you're alone.
Yeah.
Like, I
Absolutely.
hope those guys don't mess with me.
Yeah.
And exactly as those four guys came down the trail to where I was painting, this angel of a woman and her husband. There was this woman walking with her husband, and she was like maybe in her late 50s, early 60s. She had a very similar haircut to me, a nice short,
Yes.
and she was the sweetest woman I talked to, like, all week. And she came up, she was like, what are you painting? And I showed her, she was like, oh, that's so lovely. And like, she didn't even know she was doing this for me, but she sat
Mhm.
and talked to me and made me feel like comfortable until those guys moved on,
We're gone. Yeah.
were totally gone. And I was talking to her about just like, I really also want to go to Letchworth State Park and like paint there. And she went, I have a friend who does that. She's like in her 60s and she solo travels all over the place and paints in national parks. And I was like, that's incredible. That's what I'm trying to be. And she was so lovely. And so then, she walks on and people are passing by, and it's getting later on in the day. I think the park is open till sunset, and sunsets at like what, 8:30, 8:45
Mhm.
ish around this time of year. And it's like all, passing 7:30, it's approaching 8 o'clock, and this family comes to look at the falls where I'm sitting.
Mhm.
And you know they come up and they're like, oh, what are you painting? I was like, oh, I'm just like practicing. I do my little spiel about, I'm not very good yet, so don't judge me. uh, and they were like, wow, that's so lovely, just for practice, that's incredible. And then they take their pictures, they're asking me, because like there's a prettier spot farther up, but they have two little kids and it's getting late, so they're like, we'll probably just stop here. And
Mhm.
then they're like, will you mind taking our photo? I was like, no problem. So I take their photo. And then as they're kind of getting ready to turn around and leave, the woman was like, so would you ever like sell your paintings? And earlier that day, I had fantasized about how I was going to get approached. People were going to be buying my paintings left and right. I was like, these? I mean, yeah, I would love to sell them, like, eventually. That would be nice. And she was like, but would you sell that one that you're like working on? And I was like, do you want it? I'm not proud of it, but I am definitely not very good yet. And
I
so I was
mean,
just,
I'm not gonna speak on the fact that you're an amazing artist.
oh, thank you
I'm
so much.
sure I'm sure you could be better in certain areas, but you're an amazing artist,
Thanks,
so
Sam. But yeah, she asked to buy it, and I was like, "Would you give me $10?" She was like, "Sure." They were Canadian, so she gave me $7 American and $5 Canadian. Rich, rich, rich Miss Moneybags. And yeah, it just made my whole week. It was so kind of
Mhm.
her. It was so. It was such like. It was just in my mind, like I've been saying. Like I just you repeat this to yourself, like everything is coming to me. Like it's all
Yeah.
working out for me. Like
Yeah,
these
absolutely.
are all just signs that I'm on the correct path for me right now.
Yeah, and so soon after you quit your job, like, I feel like it's just really aligning for you.
100%, right? It's just falling into place in this way. And yeah, that kind of capped off my camping trip. I went back, I had dinner, I packed up the next day and headed to my friend Zoe's place. And then I came home today, and it was a great trip. And I can't wait to go again after I kind of fix up some things in my car, I handle some
Yeah.
things back at home base. And
I know
yeah.
while you were talking about your inverter, my husband was in the room and he was, like, trying so hard to be as quiet as he could, but he wanted to
Oh,
hear.
yeah.
So the thing about the converter.
Right. No, I'm sure he has ideas. If he was here, I would love if he would look at it for me.
Yeah.
But maybe,
Um,
maybe you can, maybe he'll text me and tell me what he thinks is wrong. My
yeah,
brother
I'll
and
tell him
dad
to
have
reach out
said
to you.
maybe it's just a defective inverter because they're like, I don't think we did anything wrong, but
Yeah.
who knows?
So yeah, Stephanie, the next thing I wanted to do was what I'm calling the pitch room.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to pitch an idea to you and I want to get your thoughts on it.
Okay. I love this.
Okay. So I last week Unwritten by is it Natasha Bedingfield who does
Yep.
Unwritten was playing in the EDR in the employee dining room and I felt called to watch Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants,
Yeah.
which I texted you about because we started the movie and I mean a minute in I'm sobbing
Oh, yeah.
because it's it's just that type of movie. It feels so viscerally like this is what female friendship should be. Like they're going through their disparate things, but they're together through it. They have each other to rely on. So I'm watching this movie, which is about three white women, white girls, and one Latina girl. And I'm like, what if because Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants, right, was a book first. And, I'm sure the author had great intentions, but it's not a very diverse book.
Mhm.
What if we hired 10, I'm going to say 10 writers from diverse backgrounds, and they all created four characters who were girls growing up in America, who were best friends and they each wrote a Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants book about these four friends in their environment, their backgrounds, the things that you go through as a girl. And instead of just this one look at girlhood, we had a look at a range of girlhoods and could really see into like the importance of these female friendships despite, you know, backgrounds, despite like living arrangements with different family dynamics and things. So that's my pitch to you, we hire about 10 women and they each write a Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants style book about four girls who they create the characters of.
That's incredible. How so? Yes, let's do it. And also,
I
yeah,
mean,
we'll
obviously,
start.
like, I'm not saying we should hire these people because
Yeah, yeah,
like, I can't even sell the rights to a book that I'm working on. Like, I'm not going to be able to get book rights for somebody else. But,
yeah.
like, just as a society, I'm saying we as a
Yes,
society need to hire 10 women to put together these books.
a hundred
Um,
percent.
yeah, just because I was like, I grew up loving the Babysitters Club, and I just like see this future for the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants, like IP, that there's more stories to be told, and they can be told in this way of like these girls finding this thing that connects them and is like a magical, mystical thing that proves that they are supposed to be together, and then
Yes,
they just go through their lives and they have each other to rely on.
that's so beautiful. Yeah, I say let's do it. Let's get the yeah. Like the thing is, with how good everything has been going, all we need to do is say it to the universe, and it'll happen. I'm sure.
Yes,
all
100%.
it's
I'm
all in the works.
absolutely positive.
Great. So we've started that now.
Okay, so that's my first pitch, and I have a second pitch for you if you're willing
Okay,
to
tell me.
hear. Okay, so this one requires a little bit more backstory because have you heard of Enola Holmes?
Pam, you know I have. Have I heard of Enola Holmes, your arch nemesis? The person you hate most in
My
this
arch
world?
nemesis.
Oh, Pam. Recover, recover.
She's getting to me. She knows where I
Yeah.
am. Anyway, Enola Holmes is my arch nemesis. And the reason that she is my arch nemesis is because she is this character that's written as a. What do I want to say? She's written as a commentary on how girls are raised, right? She isn't raised in the traditional way a woman is, with like she says, so there's a book series Enola Holmes, but I'm talking specifically about the movies about Enola Holmes that are on Netflix with Millie Bobby Brown playing Enola Holmes. And I want to be clear, I do not take any offense to Millie Bobby Brown. She is playing a character. I do take offense with the writers of this film because they have her state multiple times, I wasn't a girl who learned embroidery. And she says that as though it's a very good thing. So I have a lot of comments about the first Enola Holmes because she's this very like not like other girls character. I'm not forced into like wearing corsets, and I'm not into this and I'm not into that. All these things that are, I think, strengths of being a girl or being a woman that are looked down upon by men, and then women get into the role of writing for girls, and they, instead of embracing these things that are seen as womanly, they reject them. So I was watching Enola Holmes 2, and I think they course corrected a lot in Enola Holmes 2. And they had it like she doesn't know how to dance. So she's at this place where she has to dance, and she has to be taught how to dance very quickly. So I was watching this and I was like, but wouldn't a story be so much better, especially this type of story, which is very like she and her brother are pitted against each other as these two detectives who are trying to chase the chase the trail of what they're trying to solve. And Sherlock Holmes is coming up against walls because he hasn't had a traditional female upbringing and he isn't able to solve this. And then his sister, who did have a traditional female upbringing, in my pitch, she is able to solve that because she has had that traditional female upbringing. So that's my pitch. Instead of, this is a girl who's not like other girls, who's been through martial arts training, who's never had to sew a day in her life. She actually has all of these traits of a traditionally brought up girl, and she uses those to her advantage in her detective work to show her brother that it's not just about being familiar with what men are familiar with. It's about having a well rounded view of the world and being able to pick out, like, I think in the first movie, there's a puzzle that has to do with flowers. And the boy who's like her foil in the first film, he knows about the flowers and she doesn't. So I was like, this is like pulling on a thread. This is something that if she had had that traditional upbringing, she would know about the flowers and he wouldn't. So maybe she should recognize that, like, it's, she should have had a more traditional upbringing and should have been more exposed to these things because now she's in a position where she isn't able to figure something out because she was never taught it. So that's my pitch. She and her brother are two sides who were brought up separately because one was a boy and one was a girl, and they come together and learn from each other's upbringings about how to solve these puzzles by having a well-rounded view of the world.
That's beautiful. Yeah, pitch approved. We're moving forward into phase. I feel so, I also feel very passionate about this because yeah, I feel like the character of Enola Holmes in the original movie was poo-pooing on these things like girls are other girls are forced to do
Yeah,
as valueless, and she's not like them because she brings her value by being like a man and doing the things a men do.
100%. Yeah,
And like obviously we are of the view that people should be able to pursue the things that they're interested in, but not that things that women are traditionally associated with are of no value. Like
yeah,
that's simply not true. The reason women are taught all these things is because they have immense value and are often an immense amount of work.
yeah.
So yes, I totally see. I see the vision, and I see the message, and I love
So
it.
in Enola Holmes 2, Moriarty, who is Sherlock Holmes's like arch nemesis from, I mean, I've read the Sherlock Holmes books. Moriarty is really only in one of the things, but like throughout the history of Sherlock Holmes media, Moriarty is always put up as like this arch nemesis for Sherlock Holmes. And in Enola Holmes, it turns out that it's a woman. And I was like, wouldn't it be so great if Sherlock Holmes wasn't able to go toe to toe with Moriarty because he doesn't know what the upbringing of a woman is? And she has all of this knowledge that she's gained as a woman to be able to completely fluster him and not be able to do it. And then Enola's able to step in and look at all of those things. But it's a lot murkier the way that it happens in the movie, where like it's not as solid as that and it's not saying that. And
Yeah.
also, she's a black woman and they just kind of gloss over the fact that she's black. Like,
Mm.
she's like, I'm a woman and I'm Moriarty. And I'm like, okay, but there's some other stuff going on here too.
Mm.
Like,
Yeah.
but they don't want to approach that. So they don't.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, I think it could be a lot more solid if like he is going up his against his arch nemesis and he is not able to cope because she has all of these skills that he never saw value in.
Totally. Yes. I love it.
So yeah, that's my pitch room. I hope you've enjoyed my pitches, and I think we're kind of running a little bit late on time, so I don't think we're going to be able to get into any advice this week. But if you have a pitch for us that you want us to look at, if you have stories of people falling down or anything like that, you can reach out to us at PSDontTellMailbag@gmail.com. That is PSDontTellMailbag. And we're so happy that you've joined us for our little sleepover. And we hope to see you next time.
Bye.